All right. All right. I think we're live. We're live.
What's up, sports fans? Welcome to the Untitled Nerd Show.
That's not the correct intro.
As anybody can tell, this is our first episode, so nobody knows what the hell we're saying.
Boobs.
All right. Proper intro. Okay. What up, nerds?
Oh my goodness.
What up, nerds? Okay. That's good. We got that out of the way.
All right.
So, should I wait for the intro until people are here or what?
No, I do the intro. It's a talk show. We're going to record it and to do it later. Anyway.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
This is the first run, so... Are you live on Twitch, though? I'm not seeing you.
Am I not?
If we are live, please beware. They are experiencing technical difficulties.
Dang, Microsoft.
Oh, there we go. Now I see it pop up. It just popped up.
Yeah, don't delete the channel.
Oh.
That's weird.
Of course, I have to watch a... Okay, I'm going to have to subscribe to you. This is it. I'm done. I'm done watching all of these stupid little things.
I could actually turn off the free stream ads.
Damn, no, I just subscribed. It's done. It's done.
Okay,
it's
that's
done.
fine.
I will give you... Nope. I've done. I
right,
gave
cool.
you money.
Thank you.
Hey, Nerdy Farmer's a new subscriber. Thanks, Nerdy Farmer. Welcome to the show.
So whatever. I gave you money. That way we didn't have to deal with that.
All right.
So let's delete his subscription so he has to give us money every single time we do a podcast.
Oh my god, I will reach through this damn microphone and strangle you.
Okay, so now the show is starting properly.
We are on Twitch.
What's up, everybody? We have not figured out a proper intro yet, so I'm just gonna say what's up. We are...
Well, hi everybody. I'm the Nerdy Farmer. How's everybody doing?
This is Nerdy Farmer, a fellow streaming friend of ours. We are Player 22, but I think you already know that because you're here. This is our first ever Untitled Nerd Show. Working title, but might be permanent.
I like it. It runs into that whole Untitled Goose game.
Yeah.
Like the whole point of the game is to be a fucking asshole goose. And
It
we're a bunch
works.
of asshole veterans. So it works.
It works. If people get it, they get it. If they don't,
Fuck
they'll
'em.
figure it out.
Fuck them.
I don't know. I think it's catchy. I think it's keep it.
Yeah, it works. We'll have to, as long as that's official, we'll have to work on some like super professional graphics in the future.
All right, so player, why don't you tell our audience what the nerd show is going to be?
The Nerd Show will be all things nerdy. Gaming, movies, TV shows, any kind of nerd entertainment. It could even be non-nerdy shit. I don't know, whatever we think of, really. And you know, I think we'll also leave it open for questions from the chat if anyone has anything they want to bring up. You know, open forum type of thing.
All right, well, okay. So, first topic, what you got for us?
First topic. So did we already do the intros? Like,
We did the intro.
We did Nerdies, yeah.
we did?
Yeah.
Okay. It was pretty short.
Well, he's nerdy, so.
It's true. So, okay. So, I recently just finished a playthrough of Control. So, let's talk about that.
Well, I can't really say much to that game. I haven't played it.
Do you have interest in playing it?
I plan on playing it. I watched you play yours, and it looks interesting.
It is.
is.
Interesting's a good summary. It's a good summary. I told you before I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10, and you know, I think that's a little bit less than what people would expect, considering it was a Game of the Year nominee.
Now, are you using like Angry Joe's rating system where a 5 out of 10 doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game? It's just an average game.
I think I don't really know his rating system, but for me, I've always thought of anything below a 5 is not worth finishing.
Right. So like you consider 5 to be average, and then like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would all be above average in different scales.
Yeah. So a 5 is like it's worth finishing even if it sucks. And then anything below that is just like fuck this shit.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's how I thought it would be too. Like, because like a lot of people get confused on that because they're like, oh, it's 5 out of 10. It must be shit because it's failing, in school. And it's like, no, that means it's halfway there. It's average.
Yeah.
Plus, living on a prayer.
Plus, our rating system, I'm sure is on a personal level more than like we're not giving an official review, so. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the game got for real. It might have been an 8 out of 10 or whatever, but
I think it got like raving reviews. I mean, but all reviews are personal. I mean, it's all subjective.
Yeah, that's kind of my viewpoint on it. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Honestly, it was fun. The gameplay is fun.
It took you a minute to figure out the gameplay, though.
Yeah, it did. But like mixing the gun combat with powers like throwing shit at people or throwing people, like that shit's fun.
Oh, you got to the point where you're actually throwing people around.
Yeah,
nice.
So like you're like a person with a pistol and Jedi powers, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. The telekinetic powers and well, I guess it's all based around telekinesis, really. Because you have your regular launch, which is throwing shit, and then you have like a shield ability where you're picking up pieces of the environment to shield yourself, and then you have levitate.
Like, so can you pick up like the actual enemies and use them as shields?
Yes. I never actually.
I can get behind this.
I never actually did that because as soon as I pick someone up, I'm usually throwing them. But I think you can hold them up in front of you and kind of shield yourself.
Players like, he's like hulking everybody across the map.
Fuck this guy, piss me off. So gameplay definitely fun. As far as guns, kind of the actual guns themselves were kind of not all that exciting.
When you played it the first day when I was with you, I remember you had the regular gun, like a shotgun, and maybe like a sniper gun or something like that. Did it ever like vary from those 3 bases?
Yeah, so the cool thing about the gun system is that you have this one gun called the service weapon, and it changes forms. So it's basically one gun the whole time that just changes forms, and you get upgrades. You can you get your first upgrade, which is the shotgun, and then it goes into like a SMG. Then you get your kind of sniper rifle, but it's like a charge sniper rifle, so it's kind of like a power shot type of thing.
So there's not an actual like loot aspect to the game where like you find different guns. You unlock different forms for your gun then?
Yeah, like the gun changes and shifts form based on
basically
like molecules.
Yeah,
and shit.
basically the growth system for your character is based around getting new gun forms or getting new powers. So there's no like gear per se.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. So overall, did you feel satisfied at the end of the game?
I can't say I was really satisfied because I was expecting a better than 7 out of 10 experience. Just based off of the reviews it got. But I think so there were a lot of issues. First, so one of the biggest issues I had with the game might have been just because I was playing on console. I don't know. It might only be a console issue. It might not be. But it had a lot of technical issues. So every time the autosave system was fucking retarded in the game. Because every time you would pause, it would autosave. Just pausing the game, not like doing anything. Just as soon as you press pause, it autosaves. And
That's an odd autosave
That
system.
is very odd. And the thing is, it for some reason it has trouble loading in and out of the pause screen, even though it's just this small overlay on the screen. So every time you unpause, no matter how long you wait, it doesn't autosave out of the pause, but no matter how long you wait after pausing, you drop frames like crazy. Like it goes down to like 1 frame a second or some shit for a couple of seconds. And
yeah, that's definitely to be a poorly optimized system. There, it sounds like. So, I mean, but what console? PlayStation.
Sorry, you cut out a little.
You reduced down to 1 frame a second there for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, did you just autosave just now?
Oh, what console were you playing on?
Xbox or PlayStation?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was looking at getting on an Xbox, so maybe it's just a PlayStation issue. Maybe I'll let you know.
What do you?
I plan on playing it.
Do you have standard Xbox or?
I have a One X.
One X. Okay. Yeah, it should run fine on that.
I've got the PS4 Pro and the One X.
So okay. Yeah, so you might have better performance than me, because I have the standard on both.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So other issues. So
what was the storyline like? Like, I remember that first day when I was with you, the storyline was kind of weird, but we weren't really sure where it was going.
Yeah, story was another big thing. I don't really know.
Don't want to spoil for anybody.
Yeah, I don't really know what to rate on the story. It was confusing. It was definitely confusing. It was kind of hard to follow. I even talked to people who had played the game and they said they were still confused, and like based on
is it confusing, hard to follow, like The Witcher 3, or not Witcher 3, but the Witcher Netflix TV series is hard to follow in the sense you got to get like 3 seasons in or 3 episodes in to understand what's happening, or is it just hard to follow the whole time?
It kind of throws a lot of weird shit at you that you kind of have to figure out what they're talking about. So it throws a lot of made up shit at you, you know, like made up terminology and just unworldly concepts and shit at you that you kind of have to figure out in universe. I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, but I've heard it's confusing. And there's a lot of the thing about the story is that there's a lot of extra content hidden in you know, collectibles like documents and different types of media like audio and video files and shit. So it's one of those type of games where like, yeah, you can get the story, you can get the main story, but then there's so much more in the extra shit. So much more backstory. So it's I don't know. It's a good story, and it's well performed. Like the acting is good. I don't know. Definitely wouldn't have been my narrative of the year though. So
hey, give me just a second, guys. My humidifier just popped on. It's super loud. So give me a second.
Okay. We're taking a short break here.
Are we streaming on Twitch? I'm used to seeing our stream going.
Are we not?
All right. I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Cool.
I have a big giant humidifier for the house, and it's on auto, and I guess it got drier than it needed to be, and that big old noise you heard was that kicking on.
Mm-hmm. So, I didn't hear it actually. Right.
Yeah, me neither.
Really? I thought it was coming through. Maybe next time. Maybe I have my audio settings finally set up to a point where it's actually good. Only took me a year and a half. All right. Well, I mean, Control sounds good.
Yeah. It's worth playing. If
speaking of storylines, have you guys seen the new Witcher Netflix show?
Chris?
Nope.
Okay. So I haven't started it properly. I've watched like a couple episodes at my sister's house because my brother-in-law was watching it, and I think I caught maybe it was somewhere in the middle, maybe like episode 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 or something like that. It's definitely interesting. I don't I don't get into a lot of TV series.
Have you read the books?
No, I haven't played the games either.
Okay.
I know nothing
I
about
don't want to
the
spoil
universe.
anything for you. So I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm going to say it is phenomenal. I've read some of the books, the first couple books, which are like short stories that they compiled, which aren't really the first couple books. It's the ones that he wrote that kind of sets up the Witcher saga. But the TV series or the Netflix series, and just give a heads up, a lot of people have a hard time following it because it's based off of those books where it's a bunch of short stories. So think of this season of The Witcher as a prequel to the actual meat and potatoes of what we're going to get in the next season. It's a lot of skipping around, a lot of different timelines. You'll see one character in one scene, and then you'll see him again in another scene, but it'll be in a different timeline. One of the ones that really kind of makes it very abrupt and noticeable is there's a character named Foltest. I'm not going to give you any info on who he is or what he does, but you'll see him in one scene where he's talking to the Witcher as an adult, as an older adult, and the next scene you'll see him in another scene with the Witcher, and he's a young child. And you realize then very, very clearly that there are different timelines here, because you got to realize too that the main characters in the Witcher series, the Witcher himself, Geralt, and the sorcerer or sorceresses. Is it sorcerer or sorceresses?
I didn't know there was a proper term.
Okay, we'll say sorcerer.
That sounds good.
They don't age.
Okay.
Well, at least not like normal people. So they live long, long, long lives because of the sorcerer, because of their magic, and because of the Witcher, because of the mutations that they undertake to become Witchers. So it's very interesting. A lot of people get confused. Like I would say, when you watch it, if you're confused in episode 1 and 2, things really don't start to seriously connect until probably episode 4. And then even then, all of the storylines, it's really cool how they did it. By the end of the season, all of the storylines and all the timelines kind of converge, and it comes together, and it's really, really awesome. But then how they leave it off, it's just like, oh fuck, I gotta know what's happening. And the next season is supposed to come out to 2021, so it's infuriating. It's like Game of Thrones all over again.
Okay.
See, Game of Thrones is one thing I never got into.
I was the Game of Thrones nerd in the office. Me and
I just don't like to follow a lot of TV series. It's not my thing. I never watched like all the popular shit that people watch, except now I'm watching Mandalorian. So,
I mean, to be entirely honest, I'm very selective. Like and even TV shows that I follow, sometimes I fall out of. Like I'll a lot of times I'll start a TV show I think is really awesome, i.e. like Game of Thrones, and by like the 4th season, I'm like, okay, this is getting boring. Mm-hmm. I did the same thing with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I was about to say Walking Dead was exactly like that. I followed it until like the middle of the 4th season, and then I'm like, this is become the same old, same old.
Yeah, Walking Dead never interested me.
I did the same thing with Black Flag, Vikings. I do it all the time. The only TV show I've ever followed for like my entire life is South Park. I'm a huge South Park fan. I'm the biggest South Park fan on the face of the planet, probably. My wife just recently got me a South Park pillow that has Cartman dressed up in his coon costume, and when you squeeze the pillow, it farts.
I was about to say, does it fart when you squeeze it? Yes.
Yes, it's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say comedies is probably something that's like easier for me to get into, but I just can't get into like the drama series that.
Well, here's something that I will say as a South Park fan that I'm ashamed that I haven't done. I have never played the South Park video games. Have you guys?
No.
Oh man, it's on my list this year. So yeah, that's a good caveat into I think a good topic. What or segue or whatever you want to say. What are the games that you plan on playing this year on your channel? I have a list in my head. What do you guys have planned on yours?
Let's see.
You got it somewhere, don't you?
I've got a list on.
Is it on Discord?
Might be on Discord. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up.
Well, because I know one of your games you're gonna be playing with me this month, DOS 2.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: with us only being able to play it twice a week for like a total of 6 hours, how long is that going to take us?
Like total 6 hours a day or total 6 hours a week?
A week.
Oof. Well, let's put it this way: when I played DOS 2, and keep in mind, I did every side quest, every story quest, everything that I could possibly do for the character that I was playing, and it's going to be completely different depending on the character you play and the decisions you make. I think it was 150 to 170 hours I spent in that game.
Okay.
I mean, it was a significant amount of time I spent in that game. It was an absolute joy every second, and I can't wait to dive back into it. But I can honestly say that it was a longer playthrough.
So 150 divided by 6 hours a week is 25 weeks, which is basically half a year. So we got that going for a while.
And that will be going for some time, I think.
But I mean, if you know what you're doing already, maybe we could make it go a little bit faster.
Get it down to 120 hours.
Maybe. But the thing is I think the only way to really cut down that game is to cut out like the side quests and stuff. But you don't want to. They're so well written. Like Larian Studios, and I'm gonna sound like a fanboy, and to some degree I kind of am, because that game helped build my channel and helped me gain my affiliate. But like the game itself is so good. Like they just it's really is a gem. That's why I'm so excited that they are doing Baldur's Gate 3, because it's if they bring that level of expertise and writing and just storytelling to Baldur's Gate 3, we're all in for a huge treat. I mean, the game is just every quest. There isn't a single quest in Divinity Original Sin 2 that is a boring fetch quest. Not one. They're all engaging. They're all great storytelling. The characters you meet are all like a lot of my viewers that they'll remember. One of the most remembered quests for a lot of them isn't even the main quest. It was a side quest that involves a dog.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, like people always talking about, oh, Birdie, it's so sad. It's so like that's the type of writing that's in that game, though. It's so just good. It's just good. Like there are very few games that I can say that have that degree of just beautiful writing.
So I say I'm gonna leave my experience of the game in your hands. You are welcome to guide me along the way, and make sure I do all the right shit and see all the good stuff.
Well, I don't want to guide you.
I don't not to the point of like spoiling or like controlling the game for me, but kind of. Yeah. So if I miss something,
So Nerdy, when you played it, what was your type of character? What was the way that you played your character?
Well, I played so you have the option of playing either some pre-made characters, like the main characters of the story, or you can make your own character. I played as I can't remember her name. We just called her the crazy bitch. But
so you played your wife?
Basically.
Mark for
so she was the one who had like demons in her head and everything. That was the premise of her.
Oh, she was like she was a musician or something.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, yeah, because I did recently start up the game just to see what the character creation would be.
We played as her, and her storyline, her overall storyline was so beautiful. So that I played her as I thought that she would be played. I very much role played her.
That's usually what I do with characters. I play it how I feel they would.
Yeah. I would say for your first playthrough, choose one of those characters.
One of the pre-made ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was going to be one of my questions, was should I pick one of them?
Yeah, because a lot of the story revolves around them. a lot of the more deeply and well written stuff revolves around them. So like I would say choose one of them.
What up, Pavin?
What's up, Pav?
Hey Pavin. And go with whichever one you want to go with, because they all have great stories. But
okay,
yeah, that's what I say. I would say choose one of them.
So it's a good thing that Pavin just showed up, because one of the questions I wanted to ask your community was you too, Nerdy. Do we want to start our stream going through the whole character creation and me going through tutorials and shit, or do we want me to? Should I do that off screen so people don't have to?
There's really not tutorial. It just kind of drops you into the game. Like there's a quote unquote tutorial level, but it's all story.
Okay.
So it kind of it builds the.
We're talking about Divinity, Pavin.
Yeah, it builds the world. It builds the world of the game in like the quote unquote tutorial. So I wouldn't say do that off stream, and I'd also say do the character creation on stream. That's because you get like as you're choosing your character. You said you spit it, you booted it up. It allows you to play their backstory before you choose the character, so you can actually get to know your character as you're building your character.
Okay, so Pavin says on stream. All right. I just didn't know, if people wanted to see me bumbling my way through the beginning and shit.
That's kind of the fun, seeing you bumble around.
Sure.
Yeah. It is. And trust me, for the first couple streams, I think it did. I think Pavin can attest to this. I think I walked around with my character having a bucket on their head. 100% did that. That's a thing you can do.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that you might want to do one of the primary characters, but maybe not the same one that Nerdy did, just so we can kind of get a different view of the storyline and all that stuff.
So how many playthroughs have you done?
On stream, 1.
Okay. And off stream?
1.
So 1.
I love the game, but I have found becoming a streamer, I just don't have as much time to play off stream as much as I'd like.
Yeah, I know how that is. Pretty much all my games are like on stream now.
Man, know the names. Gray Cap and Beard Bro, please. Player 22 is the Gray Cap guy, and Beard Bro is Chris.
Our names are on Chris's shirt there, but they're both yellow, so it's hard to see. I'm AD. That's Chris.
There you go, AD and Chris.
I just call him Player 22.
That's fine.
and an asshole over there.
Yeah. Player 22 and the asshole. That's our show.
There we go.
Asshole 22.
So, but yeah, we'll have fun with it.
Yeah, so we'll start on Wednesday.
What I'll probably do when we play together is I'll make a character that isn't one of the presets, and I'll let you play as one of the presets, and I'll just be like, your sidekick.
Okay. Sounds good. I really wish I could play it more than twice a week, but
we'll play it when we can play it. Who knows? Maybe we could do like on weekends too, like after the Untitled Nerd Show or something.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Like if you're open on weekends, I'm usually open on weekends, so
it depends on the weekend for me. Like this weekend, I'm open because my entire family has been infected by my son's sickness, who we now refer to him as Patient Zero. Oh my God, you understand? My entire, not just me who got infected, the entire family. Nerdy wife is starting to feel kind of crummy. Both my parents are down. Both my sisters are down. My sister's boyfriend is down.
Damn,
my sister's boyfriend's kids are down. I don't know what the hell my son created, but it was...
He is powerful, I'll give him that.
Apparently. Jeez, that's just crazy.
He's taking down the whole family. Happy New Year.
I know, right? I know. It's like fucking crazy.
How old is he?
Speaking, my son, he's 10.
He's 10?
Mm-hmm.
So he knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's grounded. He's grounded. He's grounded until everybody gets well. So speaking of New Year stuff, and I know I'm kind of stealing the spotlight from you doing subjects. Stop me whenever you get it, whenever you want, player.
Well, so you did ask me my list of games for the year, but we can wait on that if whatever.
Oh no! Go ahead. Yeah, did you find your?
No, list? I mean if you're on a thought right now. I don't want to break it.
No, I can come back to that thought. I have it written down.
Okay.
So like, did you find your list?
So yeah, so we got Divinity, obviously, which we figured out is going to take us
half the year
forever. But January and February are pretty much open for me right now. I was going to do Last of Us in February, but it, got delayed till May. So really the next thing I have is Final Fantasy Remake in March.
See, I am not too sure I'm going to touch that one for a couple reasons.
Well, you said you're not a Final Fantasy fan, so
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan, even though it looks good. But I also know that the community, the Final Fantasy community, can be kind of ravenous. And if you say the wrong thing about their game, they will hang you for every single bit of you are.
Oh, I mean, I'm planning on going into Final Fantasy as a fucking full-on fanboy because that was my childhood.
Oh, see, I wasn't a big Final Fantasy guy ever, and that's probably the other big reason. Like, I'm not a big fan, and the third reason for me is the fact that it's episodic. So you're gonna get this game, you're gonna play it, and you're probably gonna get to a really cool cliffhanger point, and just be like, "All right, now wait for the next 3 years for us to put out the next episode." Because that's how I understand it. They're doing episodic releases, and really nobody knows how fast the episodic release is going to be. So you're going to get the first part of the game in episode 1, and you have no idea when the next episode's going.
Yeah, that's not knowing when the next part is I can see being frustrating, but I do know that the first part will be the entire Midgar section, which I'm fine with it ending there. I'm obviously, because I love the game so much, I'm more lenient on being critical about the way they're doing it, but I understand the frustrations with it.
So the episodic release, is that something that the production company is doing purposely? Or is that something where whenever they're able to finish up, they'll release it?
So the original game came out on a 3-disc pack. Okay. So because it was such a huge game. And now that it's being remade, then obviously it's going to be way bigger because of the advanced technology and shit and advanced engine and whatever. But so it's basically like, let's say it still is a 3-disc set. It's just 3 discs released separately is what they're doing.
Okay.
See, the problem that I have with that is the fact that when you bought Final Fantasy VII back in the day, and you got those 3 discs, you got all 3 discs
at the same time
for the same price.
Yeah. Like for the same price at the same time. They're going to charge you $60 for episode 1, $60 for episode 2, $60 for episode 3, and that's scummy. In my opinion, that's super scummy.
Yeah, it is. It is. No arguments. So let's see. I mean, Final Fantasy is obviously probably going to take up a lot of time. I have shit broken up by month, but I know some games are going to take more than a month. Final Fantasy probably being one of them. So The Last of Us 2 comes out in May, and I wanted to do with Tara a replay of The Last of Us 1 before it comes out, just to kind of
should.
Yeah. So we'll probably do that sometime in April before the game comes out.
Wasn't that the first game that she played that kind of got her into...
She didn't play it. I played it.
Oh, you played it.
Yeah,
okay.
The first game she played was Walking Dead.
It was Walking Dead. Okay.
But yeah, that was one of our first streams. So Last of Us sometime in April. Last of Us 2 sometime in May. The Avengers comes out in May also, and I'll probably check it out. I don't know about a playthrough, but I'm definitely going to check it out. And then, as we talked about, I kind of put it up on myself to play Fast and Furious in May also.
That'll be for the, what do we call it?
Yeah, we got to come
Science Gaming.
We got to come up with a name for that too, and start planning that. We can talk about that at the end.
Mystery Science Gaming, it'll be fun.
And then, so Ghost of Sushi comes out in the summer, which I'll probably play.
What was that called?
Ghost of Sushi.
Okay.
Sushi Ghost.
Ghost of Sashimi.
Sashimi.
Yeah, 10 times fast.
After the summer, I don't know. I don't have anything else. Okay, hold on. That is stuff that's coming out this year. That's on my list. If we're talking about shit that I just want to do in general, then Control's still on my list. I gotta take that off. Like I said, I do want to do The Witcher at some point because I've never played it. And then other interesting games like Horizon Zero Dawn. I've never played it.
I have to finish that playthrough. I have a playthrough for my YouTube series for Horizon Zero Dawn, and I have yet to finish it.
Oh, really?
I started it more than a year ago, and I haven't done anything with it for like 8 months.
How is it so far?
I love it. It's a great game. I just time management.
It happens. I mean, shit. I still haven't come back to fucking Sekiro.
I will never go back to that game. I will never go back to that game. That game is evil.
Yeah,
it is an evil, evil game.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure if I'm ready for all that frustration.
Is that the one where you're actually screaming on stream while Medwood's looking at you like you had a second head growing out of your head?
No.
Oh my god,
it's not a horror game.
Awful. All right, so let's see. What's on my list? I'm gonna be clearing a lot of my backlog for January, February, honestly. So, the waifu, she got me Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna be playing that for sure. I also am gonna go back to The Witcher 3 because I've never finished it. I've never finished The Witcher 3 game. I've started at least half a dozen playthroughs. And then by the time I get like about halfway through the game, I get sidetracked with a new game. And then I come back to it and I'm just like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Let's start a new playthrough. And I do that all this time I'm doing it. I'm going to finish the damn game.
See, I like now that we're talking about the show and like how many people are fucking playing the game right now, I just don't know if I want to start it now when like everybody's playing it.
Yeah, I do. I wanna. I think this is the perfect time. I'm hyped because I just finished the Witcher TV series. I want to play the game. Like I said, RDR2. Both of those are huge story-based games, and I'm playing DOS 2 with you on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I'm probably looking. That's going to fill up most of January and February, if not all of them. Which is good because there's not a whole lot coming out. I've got the release schedule list and everything that I've been taking notes on, looking right now. That isn't coming out in those 2 months. March,
go ahead.
Just looks pretty open again for me too until March 13th. March 13th is going to be my hit time to finish at least one of those 2 games. Neo 2. I will be hitting that up big time.
Oh, Neo.
I love the first Neo. So I'll be hitting that. That's also a big month for anybody who likes shooters. Doom Eternal comes out. So because it got pushed back from November to March. So beginning March and April are huge this year.
Yeah, that's what I noticed when I was looking at my list.
Yeah, you have for those who want to get the playthrough Persona 5 Royal, the actual.
Oh shit, that is that March?
Yep.
I thought it said December when I last checked.
I think that was a placeholder, but I think they've actually given a date now.
Shit, damn. I gotta figure out my priorities then.
Yeah, and then April, the big game of the year for me, which I will be playing. I want to say I'll be playing on a release, but it'll depend on like how many streamers are playing it. But I will be playing it for sure. Cyberpunk 2077, April 16th.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be hitting that one for sure.
Yeah, that's not. I definitely am interested in that game, but it's not one on my priorities to play. I'll probably play it sometime later on.
It's definitely on my priorities. Like that's a big one. So I'll be hitting that up.
So okay, I guess
there's another game that I want to play, but I think it's a multiplayer game, so I need to find people to play it with. Are you aware of the game Predator Hunting Grounds?
I've heard of it, and I never actually watched the trailer. I saw it like in passing, but I never actually watched the full trailer. So I don't really know what type of game it is.
Did you ever play the game Evolve?
No.
where you had like the one big monster and you had like 4 hunters and they would hunt them, but they were all players. So one player is always the monster, one other player is always the hunters.
So it's kind of like yeah, I know what you're talking
it's
about.
Like a juggernaut type thing.
Yeah.
So but this time it's going to be players versus the predator kind of aspect, from what I understand. So I'm looking forward to it because I really liked the game Evolve. It was a shame that it didn't take off.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a huge Predator fan.
So yeah, I mean, I can definitely check it out if you need somebody to play with. I usually have stayed away from multiplayer and like PvP type of shit for a while,
Not to sidetrack myself, but talking about PvP stuff, the Tarkov experience. Have you even looked at that stuff?
Not other than what you were playing on stream.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that one day.
I have been bitten by the Tarkov bug big time. I probably sunk while I was being sick, sitting here like blowing my fucking snot nose every 3 seconds, like literally feeling like shit. But I was like, I gotta play Tarkov. Like it's addicting. The game is seriously addicting, and it's not even because it's like the game is good, but it's the learning curve is so freaking hard that most of my runs when I'm playing that game end in death. Like, but it's such a thrill if you actually extract in that game that it's just good. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun, and they're doing the Twitch drops things right now, and it's really become a phenomenon. Like I said, like the closest number, like there's over like 200,000 people watching Tarkov right now, and the closest game I think to it is I think The Witcher, and it's like like 15K versus 200K.
So what type of game is it?
Tarkov is one of those odd games where it's like a mashup of different games. It's like if you took battle royale, survival, and a looter shooter, put them in a pot, mixed them up, and pooped it out, and that's what you would get. Because it's got aspects of all of them. It's got the aspect of the battle royale where there's a whole bunch of players in a map, but instead of having to find your weapons and everything, you can come in with a loaded gear set, or you come in a scav with a pre-made gear set. And all of the stuff that you come in with, you can leave with and put it into your stash to make more loadouts. So it's got a very much a looter shooter aspect too, because when you kill people, you loot them and take their stuff. I mean, that's how you make money and how you progress in the game. And then the survival aspect is that you have to eat and drink. You have water and food aspects and health aspects, and if you get shot, you can have your arm be broken. You might have to do field surgery to repair your arm completely, or else it's completely lost. Like it's got a lot of different aspects to it. It's actually a very deep game when it gets down to the game mechanics. Especially if you start getting really deep into like the economy and you have a hideout you're supposed to be building up, and it's a very mechanically deep game.
It sounds like it's one of those games that is they try to make it as much like real life as possible.
Well, it started out, and I know some people. I was talking to some of my viewers the other day. Got some. They were actually kind of upset with the game itself because it started out as a successor to DayZ. It was supposed to be kind of an open world DayZ kind of game where everybody did their own thing.
Right.
And I guess at some point the developers changed gears and said, hey, that's not what we want to do exactly, because this battle royale thing's really taken off, but we don't want to do a battle royale. We want to mash them up and make our own thing. So they did that. And it pissed off some of the player base.
That would piss me off.
Yeah. But they kind of made their own genre. Like I said, it's like they took 3 different genres and smashed them up together.
Yeah,
but the gunplay, like you said, Chris, is very realistic. You get shot in the head, you dead. You dead. You dead, boy. Unless you got some really good armor on, you dead. And it's crazy because a lot of players, and I've made this mistake, a lot of players, new players, will jump into the game and they will think, oh, cool, I got to have the best gun. A lot of times in the beginning of the game, it's more important to focus on what type of ammo you're using. Yeah. Even ammo types will determine whether or not you have better armor pen to be actually able to hurt people versus the gun you're using. So it's, like I said, it's super deep.
Yeah, I mean that's just such in real life. You can have a 9mm compared to a 50 caliber, but if it's not a hollow point, then it's not going to be as effective. Doesn't matter which size or how big it is.
Yeah, so like the whole aspects of how the game is done is super neat. Like, and they even go into like when you repair armor, certain armors just don't repair as well. Like, say if you have like ceramic plating armor, it's more expensive to repair, because it shatters and does it's harder to get pieces for, versus if you get different types of armor. Like I said, it's really really interesting. Like as a veteran, as somebody who has actually worked with some of the weapon systems that are in the game, it's really interesting to play it. It really is.
It definitely sounds like a game that I would be interested in playing.
You should give it a shot. You might have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, for me, honestly, the whole
it's on sale right now too.
Get it now.
Is it on like Stream or 360 or One or like what platform is it on?
It's only on PC. It's on PC.
Okay.
But it's like, and there's 3 editions. You get like 3 or 4 editions to get. The nerdy wife bought it for me, and she got me the second to most expensive one. So it was like $70 or whatever she paid for it.
So basically, she only loves you that much.
Yes, there you go. But the very lowest edition, like the base edition of the game, I think right now is only like $30.
Okay. Are they all on sale or just the base edition?
All of them are on sale.
Okay.
So I don't know how much longer the sale's going for, but and it might not even be going on today. I'm not sure, but I think the base edition with the sale price is like $30, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, Chris is gonna have to build a PC first, so.
Doesn't stop him from going out and buying it while it's on sale now.
That's could be our next project for Player 22 is building a PC from base up.
Wait, who said I was gonna help you?
I didn't say you would.
Well, you said project for Player 22. That involves me.
Oh, so Player 22 is only through you?
Wait, it's not on Steam? What is it?
No. Tarkov is its own thing right now. You have to go to their website to buy it. Okay. They have their own launcher and everything. It's not on Steam, supposedly, because it's still technically in beta.
Is it?
Supposedly, yeah.
25% discount, okay.
Yeah, supposedly when it gets released fully, it might come to Steam, but there are rumors out there that Epic's trying to get their greedy little hands on it.
God.
So I don't know. I mean, it's
speaking of, actually no.
Let's not speak of Epic.
No, well, there's some Star Wars shit, but we'll save that for our Star Wars discussion.
Okay. But anyway, now that we got segued into Tarkov, let me finish my. After April, though, I don't have a whole lot in my list. I don't plan on doing Last of Us Part 2. And then, to be entirely honest, everything else that's supposed to come out next year is unannounced as far as specific dates. I think Tsushima, even that just says summer.
Yeah.
So, which is fine.
When you said next year, you meant this year.
Yeah, this year. I'm sorry. And once we get out to once you get past May, then you get into E3 territory. Once E3 hits, that's usually when, if things don't have release dates, that's when they get release dates. So I would say I only plan out till about E3.
So are we going to see another Call of Duty this year in November?
We see it Call of Duty every year.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of one of those things. Battlefield, Call of Duty. It used to be freaking Assassin's Creed. I'm glad Assassin's Creed is doing this every other year thing. Although we didn't get an Assassin's Creed. We didn't get an Assassin's Creed this year.
Nope.
So, we haven't gotten any word on a new one. So,
well, the rumor mill was back in the day when Assassin's Creed. No, when what was that game that Ubisoft did that I played for a while with Tiger and Rango? It was the Division 2. When the Division 2 came out, there was a.
What up, Soul Creek?
Hey, Soul Creek. When Division 2 came out, there was a poster in one of the areas of the game where it had an Assassin's Creed logo-esque looking thing on it with what looked like to be the Apple of Eternity or Info or whatever it's called. But it was Viking looking. So the rumor that's been floating around is that the next Assassin's Creed will revolve around Norse mythology.
I mean, why not? That's the one thing they haven't done. That would be cool.
The one thing they haven't done is Japanese.
I was about to say they haven't gone Oriental at all.
Assassin's Creed.
Wait a minute. Wasn't there an Asian character in like an animated series or something? I know that's not a game, but it's not.
I don't know. I know that like the closest thing they got to Japanese is they did like a Chinese one where it was kind of like it wasn't really a full Assassin's Creed game, but it was Assassin's Creed-esque type game. But no, the people have been screaming for a Japanese one for years. We've gotten every other culture but that one.
Yeah, it seems like Ninja would be the most the first thought.
Right?
Pavin, I wasn't gonna let him avoid it. I was just letting him finish his point. But he did mention that you got fucked by a goat, is what I hear.
Okay, it was, I was drunk and there was a lot of wine and there was oils.
Nerdy, are you originally from the Middle East?
That's a good point, Soul Creek. Templars are not an Asian thing, so
that is true. It's not, but the whole Templar thing is I don't know. It's not. It's weird. I don't know. I would love to see Asia. I would love to see a Japanese Assassin's Creed because there have been hints at it before. If you look at, I forget which Assassin's Creed. I think it was the most recent one also, where they go into the Oculus and they actually see, like, they show pictures of different spots where the Templar and the Assassins are stationed. One of them is a Japanese pagoda-looking building. So.
Is that where the goat fucked you? Because I'm not letting you get off that goat story now. You keep going on these rabbit trails.
So there's a part in Assassin's Creed Odyssey where you try to do these investigations and you have to go to this party and you're trying to get people to like you. And you have to
in Odyssey? Yeah, I played that. Okay.
And you had to bring like oils and stuff to this one dude who's kind of like a perv, and he's like, well, why don't you join us? Well, I joined him, but I didn't realize when I got in there that there was a goat. I thought it was just going to be a couple dudes and some chicks. No, there was a goat.
You joined him?
I joined him.
Man, I said no. Wait, were you playing as Cassandra or?
No, I was playing as the dude.
Alexios or whatever.
Yeah, I was playing as Alexios.
I played Cassandra. Honestly, I didn't. I mean, I felt like that game dragged on way too long. It was that world was way too big for its own good.
I think it was great because I love grindy games. And that's there we go. There's a topic we could talk about. The big debate people had about Assassin's Creed and their quote unquote EXP booster. I know a lot of gamers out there feel very strongly that should not have been there in their multiplayer in their single player experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the few who believe that if you want something extra added to the game, you should pay for it. Now, if you want an EXP booster to allow you to experience the game at a faster rate than which the developers intended for you to experience it, then you should pay more for it. That's my opinion. It's an unpopular one because people are like, no, because if you want to do that, just play it on easy mode or blah, 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 blah. But, I honestly think that, they bought the game. If they want to play it at a faster rate, they don't have the time to play through it the way the developers intended to it, and they want to play it faster. It's a shortcut. You pay for the shortcut. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I'm fine with it because that's at a point. That's how I felt. I didn't pay for anything, but that's how I felt. Like I just want to get through this shit faster. And Soul Creek, that's a good point. I think that's what I'm trying to say is that it was too big for what the game offered. Because like it just got really repetitive. And
Assassin's Creed games are repetitive to begin with.
Yeah, I just found myself like, I was getting sidetracked way too much. Like on the way to one thing, you'll find like 10 more shit to do, and it just got really dull. And at one point, I realized like, holy shit, I'm 50 hours in, and like maybe halfway through the story. Like I need to fucking just forget all this other shit. And I still never ended up like uncovering the entire fucking map because it's so fucking huge and travel is a bitch. because the ship traveling is not that great.
All right, so Mr. Soul Creek says, this is a problem created by the developers. If the game is too grindy and too big for the casual audience, just offer an easy mode like DOS 2 does, like story mode, easier combat and faster level up. Wanting more money for more XP is literally creating a problem and selling the solution. But the problem is, Mr. Soul Creek, that and I understand what you're saying, but say you don't want the game to be easier, you just want it to move along faster. So you still want the same amount of challenge, but you don't want to be able to how do I put it? You want the same amount of challenge, but you want more EXP for your challenge. So the game moves along faster for you, but it's not easier for you. You understand? Like, that's my point. Like, I understand what you're saying. If you just want to see the story, just play it on easy mode. And I think there absolutely should be an easy mode or story mode, and I agree with that. But if you wanted to be challenging and get that's what the EXP booster's for, I think. It's for those people who want the challenge but want it to move along faster.
I guess for me, being I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm very distrusting when it comes to big conglomerates and big corporations and big government and stuff like that. It kind of creates a slippery slope if you allow for the game developers to have something where you have to pay for something in order to get another experience in a game, because eventually they're going to start making the games originally to be so grindy that you have to pay for these things in order to be able to enjoy the game, and they're just going to make more money off you.
That's how mobile games work, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to see that happening with our regular platform games.
And I see where you're coming from. I do. I 100% agree with you. However, what's too grindy? What's too grindy for you?
And that is subjective. I understand that, but they can make it to where it is so grindy that we are all in accordance that this is too grindy.
Oh, and then yeah, and absolutely. If something's too grindy for me, I will be jumping on that train with you 100%. But my point is, I don't want to see games, because that's been a problem here. I would say in the last 10 years, even 10 to 15 years, games have been consistently getting less grindy to appeal to the major audience, because the major audience of people don't like super grindy games.
Yeah, because we've developed a shortened attention span.
Right. I love grindy games. I'm one of those people. I'll go out there and kill the boars in the woods for 3 days straight if it means that's how I got to do it. But I love my grindness in games. I love to grind. A lot of games here recently have taken the grind out, and I'm sorry, that's the most enjoyable part to me. Like, when I was in the army, my favorite thing to do was to come in and just do mind-numbing grinding after the day, because I was so fed up with bullshit and crap from work and things I had to do that I just wanted to do something mind-numbing.
It was your escape.
Exactly. And I love the grind.
So
that's what she said.
I do enjoy grinding, and I'm not saying I hated, or I don't hate Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I didn't hate it, but what it did for me, that particular game dragged on too long, and it was too big. But I do enjoy grinding, but I think with me, it has to be enjoyable, and I don't feel like it was with Assassin's Creed, and I think that was the problem, because I do enjoy grinding. Like, I'll play shit all fucking day, just grinding.
There are games out there that I agree that I feel that are way too grindy, and the developers are exploiting people 100%. First thing that comes to mind would be Black Desert Online. It's an amazingly wonderful game, but the only way to really progress is to grind a literal fuck ton, or to have a bot grind for you or something. I see the problems where they are. There's a very fine line where it needs to get it just right. And Mr. Soul Creek, I'm not a keck with a loose wallet. I'm a farmer who has no money.
Did you spend it all on RuneScape?
I don't play RuneScape. That's all them. But like I said, I like my grind. I don't want to see games get shorter and lack the grind, because they're trying to appeal to a larger audience.
And Yeah,
it might be a little bit of gatekeeping in my world, but keep the grind in the game. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, that might be, I guess, what Assassin's Creed was trying to do, was bring back the shit, but it's not the type of game that needs that level of grinding. Because really for me, like Assassin's Creed, at this point, I really play just for the gameplay because the story is just so fucking convoluted that I don't give a shit. I hate the modern day aspect of the whole Assassin's Creed story. Yeah. It's stupid.
Oh, when you come out of the Oculus and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't stand that shit either.
Yeah.
I wish they would just get rid of it. I wish they would just get rid of it.
Yeah.
I know some people love it, but I hate it.
Yeah, and I will give it that with Odyssey, is that it was very minimal in that game, but yeah.
It was the same way with the one before it, the Egyptian one.
Origins. I never played that one. I do want to play it though because I heard it was better.
Yeah, both of them did very minimal Oculus stuff, which was great. It allowed you to really, because you get attached to these characters in the game, and then you come out of this Oculus and it's like, oh, I don't care about these people.
Dude,
give me my assassinating.
Freaking, like, from the original Assassin's Creed storyline, like Desmond was probably the lamest character ever.
Animus. Thank you, Mr. Soul Creek. Not Oculus.
I hated Desmond. He was so lame.
Yeah. But okay, so I guess we got on this tangent on Assassin's Creed.
Hey,
what
man,
were we even talking about?
Filling time. I think you had just finished up your games list.
Yeah.
Right.
And we pretty much agreed that after the summer we're pretty much open.
Yeah, I mean, wait until E3. E3 is the big, like, I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot of games I'm hoping for to come soon. There's one I've been following for like 3 years now that keeps getting delayed. It keeps doing. I want to play a game called Biomutant. I have been following the game for so long that if I don't get to play it, I won't die happy. it's gotten to that point.
Yeah.
I've got to play that game. Mr. Soul Creek says Biomutant is dead. It's not dead. It's not dead yet. Stop saying bad things like that. I want that game.
Let him enjoy his grind. It's coming.
So, are we gonna do E3 coverage this year?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're obligated to.
It's a lot of hours, though.
Well, I usually cover. I don't know. I think I covered it this past year.
What time of day does E3 run?
Usually during the day. It's like throughout the entire day.
Okay.
Because you have different conferences at different times. I usually try to cover the big conferences, the ones that I care most about. It used to be Bethesda, but they can go shove their shit right up their ass. So Microsoft, Sony. Last year Sony didn't even show up to E3.
Yeah, so I definitely think we should do Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. Nintendo
really doesn't have an E3 conference. They do the Treehouse thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's kind of sort of, but not really. It's so weird. Nintendo's always been weird.
No, I don't know. We can talk about it later when it's closer.
Yeah, no, we have time to figure that out. We have plenty of time to figure that out.
Elder Scrolls 6: Rise of Monetization.
Yeah, right. Oh, don't get me started. Like, you got okay. Let's go ahead and let's adjust the Bethesda situation for me at least. Like, I have always been a Bethesda fanboy. I love Bethesda games. I loved Morrowind. I loved Oblivion.
Yep.
I loved Fallout 3. I was even one of those people who like Fallout 4. I loved their franchises. I even liked their Barbarians game. Whatever, I forget what it was called. Barbarian something. No, that was Blizzard. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah,
that's Blizzard. Sorry. But no, like I love a lot of Bethesda stuff. And they've hurt my soul. They've hurt my soul because the whole, like, first of all, it the beginning of the fall was the fact that they kept re-releasing Skyrim over and over and over and over again. And I thought they had finally come to terms with, okay, yeah, we fucked up when they started making fun of themselves. And then they did the fucking the paid mods. And I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" This is insane. And then the Fallout 76 debacle, which they can't just admit that they're wrong. That's the thing. They just can't say, "Hey, we screwed up." Like if
sounds like my ex-wife.
Like if they would just come out and say, like if they would just come out to the stage and say, "Hey, we screwed the pooch on this one, guys. We wanted to make some money, and we fucked it up left and right," they would actually gain some respect from me. I would actually come out of the woodwork and be like, "Hey, look, see, they finally admitted it. They're still bad, but they're not as bad as they were." You know, so
good luck, Kevin.
I just the wife who has beckoned you. Oh, okay.
Tell her to come to you.
Yeah.
Don't really though, because then she will become your ex.
Like, but I don't know. The whole Bethesda thing, it hurts my soul. Like, I have no hope for them anymore. Like, it's sad when a game for Bethesda used to get announced, I used to be like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited for this game." Now, when a game gets announced for Bethesda, it's, "Oh my god, I hope they don't fuck it up."
Yeah, that's true.
That's literally how it's changed for me.
Like, I'm probably one of the few people that still plays vanilla Skyrim, and I don't have any intention of ever not playing vanilla Skyrim just because everything else that Bethesda has done is just been ridiculous and over the top.
So as much as I'm aware of Bethesda's shit, I will admit that I bought Skyrim twice. Because I played it for the first time on PS3, and then when it re-released, I had gotten rid of that one, so I'm like, you know what, I want to play it again. So I buy it on PS4.
Only twice?
Only twice. Only twice. And I didn't buy any fucking mods or any of that shit.
I bought Skyrim on the Xbox. No, at PlayStation 3, then the Xbox 360, then the Xbox One, then the PC.
Holy shit.
I told you, I love Bethesda.
So you don't hate Bethesda because of the mods. You hate Bethesda because they have all your money. Bethesda is why you have that empty wallet.
It might be.
I think if
I also occasionally play Skyrim on the Amazon Echo. Also,
wow.
No wonder you won't play ESO.
But you know, that's probably how I would be with Final Fantasy VII. Is that I know the complaints, but I'm still gonna fucking pay the money.
Yeah, so nerdy's part of the problem. When it comes to Skyrim, absolutely, I'm part of the problem. I love that game.
You are.
Oh yeah, it's a great game.
You're just keeping Bethesda afloat right now.
I am putting. Was it Todd Howard? I'm putting his kids through college.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope that we hear something from E3. All fun aside and everything, I do hope we hear something about if they're doing Elder Scrolls 6, if it's going to be in Hammerfell. I hope we hear something, even if it's just a little update. I just want to hear something.
And Dragon Age 4.
I'm Dragon Age 4 is dead.
No.
That one is definitely dead. When it comes to Elder Scrolls, I think Hammerfall, if they do Hammerfall, I think that's lazy. I think it's lazy.
Because that's what we all are expecting?
Well, not only that, what's the difference between Hammerfall and Oblivion and Skyrim? There really is no difference in like the atmosphere and the environment. One has snow, one has lush fields, one's going to be rocky in a rockier RuneScape. That's it.
Well, Hammerfell is also desert.
That's what I'm saying. It's you're going to have, but they're basically the same. I would have loved to see them go into the Black Marsh with it.
I can see that, yeah.
Black Marsh would have been something
different,
drastically different than what we've seen in the past. Swampland,
or maybe even Vardenfell with the moving trees and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Hammerfall is very lazy, which is something we've actually come to expect from Bethesda. But it just, I am curious though. I'm more curious about this Starfall, not Starfall, but the other one they're working
on. Godfall.
No,
No?
not Godfall. The Bethesda one, the sci-fi one they're working on.
Oh, I don't
You
know.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've heard rumors of it. I haven't really looked too much into it, but I know what you're talking about.
Well, it's from what it seems like that's where all of their energy and attention has been put in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if they can do that game right, they might redeem themselves. Maybe that's why Fallout 76 was such a crap show. Maybe that's why ESO Unreleased was such a crap show. Maybe that's why we haven't seen anything really good from them, because they've been spending so much time on this new game that they just haven't been giving their proper attention to the others.
Maybe it'll all be worth it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Oh, speaking of caveat, real quick. Speaking of games coming, also a lot of people aren't tracking this, but you guys are realizing that there's a new Witcher game in the works too, right?
I did not.
Oh yeah, 100%.
How far in the works?
Well, they have said that the CD Projekt Red has said that they are going to re-releasing another open world RPG in 2021.
Okay, so we got time.
Yeah, well, they're releasing Cyberpunk 2077 this year, so that means they've been working on this simultaneously with Cyberpunk. That scares me a little bit.
That's two big projects, like huge projects.
So that's a little frightening.
So I think this year we should hear more about Elden Ring. Is that what it is?
I don't know if we'll see much from Elden Ring.
And maybe not that, but hopefully Bayonetta 3, which is completely off of what the type of games we've been talking about, but you
played through Bayonetta.
Tara did.
Yeah, I was about to say you did that with Tara.
Yeah, and I've kind of played through it, but I haven't played it fully, and we still haven't played 2 yet. So
okay, yeah, Pavin says Fable 4. I think we'll see something from that. I think this year for Xbox, and this is my personal opinion. This is this is 100% speculation. I think this year Xbox is going to bring the big guns. I think Xbox, with their new console coming out in the holiday season of this year, E3 they're gonna try to make this E3 their biggest E3 ever. They didn't have to do much last E3 because Sony didn't show up.
Yeah.
So they didn't. Like, they just really didn't, and they just kept on saying how they're buying up more and more. They're buying up more studios, and we haven't seen what these new studios are bringing. I mean, the one big thing they did announce is the next Hellblade game, which is, I guess, is a big one, and Xbox owns that studio. But you didn't see anything about Fable. You didn't see anything about any big new IPs. I really think that this E3, not only do I think that's going to be, speculation wise, a big E3 for Xbox, I think it has to be.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It needs to be, because Xbox's biggest issue for me is the lack of focus on one area, which is gaming. And that was the biggest problem I had with the Xbox One, is that they marketed it as like an all-in-one, thus the name Xbox One, an all-in-one entertainment center. And whereas PlayStation, all the PlayStation ads, it's about gaming. That's all it is. And Xbox needs to focus on gamers, because that's what the Xbox is. And they need to focus on games in general, because they have shitty exclusives.
Well, I would say they're shitty. I mean, Gears of War and Halo are great exclusives, but they're dated. They're
that's what I'm trying to say, is that they don't have any new.
That's what shit. Halo is why I dropped out of college. But that was what, 15 years ago. Like we haven't really had anything big since then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Halo is a great franchise. Gears of War is a great franchise.
But they need new ones. If they're going to keep up.
Like PlayStation, this last generation, they took risks. They took it with Horizon Zero Dawn. They completely rebooted and redid God of War. They took on Spider-Man. I mean, they took on all these different IPs and made basically whole new IPs with them. Like, Xbox needs to do the same thing, and I think that's what they're trying to do with buying up these studios.
Yeah.
I mean, they bought up Obsidian, and I really think if they could just give Obsidian the money, look how good freaking The Outer Worlds was.
Yeah.
That game was phenomenal, and Obsidian did it with way less money and way less resources than Microsoft can hand them. So imagine what they could do with that.
See that's a good point, Soul Creek. That's what I'm trying to say, is that Xbox doesn't have anything on the God of War level. I mean, they have Halo and Gears that they've had for a while, but yeah, they need something new.
They need a new big IP that they really, because they tried to do it with Sea of Thieves. And let's be honest, Sea of Thieves they were trying to do that whole games as a service thing, and they fucked it up. They totally fucked it up. They missed the target on that one hugely. And they tried to double down on it and then screwed themselves even more. I know people now who play Sea of Thieves and say it's a fun game now, but it's too little too late. The Xbox, Microsoft, I think what they're going to do, I think that this will be the year of the Xbox. If they're smart, they'll make this the year of the Xbox and literally announce everything, even if things aren't coming out in 2020 in holiday 2020 season, which would be dumb if they didn't. But say they said they came out in spring, they need to announce every single last game. They need to be driving, and I hate to say this, but driving these developing studios that they have into the ground to get these games out. If they want to stand a chance of reclaiming any sort of title that they once had in the past.
Yeah, and I agree that whether it releases soon or not, they need to like get it out there just to get people back on their side. Yeah,
the hype train is a powerful thing in the gaming community.
Yeah,
more so than I think in any other community. The hype train is big in our community because it's like in like movie or TV show communities, like, oh yeah, we're hyped for it, but gamers, we get ravenous. Like, you see a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII and people are like breaking the internet to watch it. It's kind of insane.
And I think with gaming, there's like so much more imagination with what it could be, whereas movies and shows, it's kind of like, I mean, kind of know what to expect. So yeah, it's interactive. That's a good point too. Like,
yes, very much so. All right then. So anything else on the schedule of things to talk about?
So I guess if we're done with everything, we can go into Star Wars. And that will be a spoiler alert for everybody, obviously. So that I want that to be the very last thing we talk about. So like, if anyone needs to leave, then this is going to be the end of our public show.
Well, it's still public. It's just, hey,
it's still public.
Spoiler
alert.
If you're still here and you're gonna be upset by the spoilers, well, you were warned.
As long as we're for sure done, we can go into that. And
yeah, I can't think of anything else we wanted to talk about this time around. We'll be doing another show. How are we doing the shows? Just so everybody knows before anybody leaves, we're worried about spoilers.
We talked about weekly. Do you think you should do weekly or every other week?
I mean, we could do weekly. I mean, I'm free at 10 a.m. every day anyway. So just to give you a heads up, we are at just now sitting about over an hour for the show. So
okay,
because you said you want to sit between an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we're making good time. That's good. That's a good idea. I'll put spoiler in the title. Let's see.
All right, so
this is the end of our spoiler-free show. If anyone wants to avoid spoilers, get the fuck out.
So Star Wars. Let's talk about Star Wars. I refuse to watch.
Oops, hold on. Oh, I got audio echoing. Okay, we're good.
All right. Yeah, I refuse to watch them in theaters because everything since the new stuff started coming out has been utter shite, to include Rogue One, and Solo, and everything else they've done. So.
Oh, Platypus, yeah. I'm sorry. Just go back and watch the VOD when we're done, and avoid this part.
Rogue One was okay. That was something Chris was saying to me. He says I'm the minority in that, which is normal for me. I like being the guy with the different viewpoint, but he was saying to me that I'm one of the few people he's ever heard say that they didn't like Rogue One.
So yeah. Speaking of that, I am the only person here who actually enjoys the new trilogy. But
yeah, you are you need to come sit on my couch and talk to me.
But there's a huge but. There's a huge
butt. Okay, very is it a hairy butt like Chewie?
Very big butt there. Okay.
I like big butts. I cannot lie.
So, I for one, I liked Force Awakens. And of the trilogy, I think it's the best one. And I understand the hate for Last Jedi, because I have some of it too, but I mean, I obviously know, I understand.
My personal opinion is the Last Jedi is worse than Phantom Menace. It is the worst Star Wars movie, short of Holiday Special.
So here's the point I'm trying.
I don't know if it's the worst.
It is. It is absolutely the worst.
Here's the point I'm trying to make. Episode 8, Last Jedi. I understand the hate for it, and if you want to say it's worse than Phantom Menace, it's a big reason for the hate for Last Jedi, I feel, is because it's Star Wars, because of canon, right? But as a movie itself,
it was horrible. All it did was it took snippets from all of the other Star Wars movies and rearranged them to make an entirely different movie. But that
still has to do with it being Star Wars. I'm saying if it's just a movie on its own.
But it wasn't just a movie on its own. It stole elements from other movies and combined it together. It was nothing about it was original.
Okay, but what if the other Star Wars didn't exist?
All right, so what you're saying is, if you were completely noob to Star Wars, never seen a Star Wars movie, you went in there just as a popcorn flick, it was a good flick. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I could see that, but that could be said of any movie, I would say. But the problem is Star Wars is a franchise. You can't get around the fact that it's got an established canon, established lore.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of your audience is going to be the individuals who go in there having watched every other movie, having read the books,
the comics and the books and the detailed everything. Yeah.
So okay,
the Rogues, the Clone Wars, and all that. Like the majority of your audience is going to be those individuals.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not trying to argue like super hard on that shit. I'm just trying to basically play devil's advocate in a sense.
I don't think it was the worst movie. I think Solo is worse than The Last Jedi, in my opinion.
Okay. So what else was I saying? Okay. So another argument I hear is the lack of character development, right? What I'm wondering is, if not for the prequels, can you say that Darth Vader is more developed than Kylo Ren?
Let's see. If you watch only the first 3 trilogy, can you say that Darth Vader developed as a character? I would say yes. Because when you first meet Darth Vader in the original series, in episode 4, he is this big baddie. He kills everybody he comes up to. He's this terrifying what's this terrifying entity. He force chokes his own people. He attacks his own people. He is just this force of destruction. And then he realizes that Luke is his son, and it becomes this development from this entity to kill everything to, okay, now I've got to turn my son. Now I've got to make him see what I see. And at the same time, Luke, throughout the movies, is trying to make his father see what he used to see from the light. And at the very end, you see him sacrifice himself for his son. So, yes, I think there's a very drastic character development in Darth Vader in the original series.
Okay.
And I'm going to agree with Soul Creek that Kylo definitely had some character. I don't think the character development was as extensive as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, but I do agree that it was the most character development of the new series. And I would agree that when you look at any of the other characters, there really wasn't any character development. Like he was the only one that developed.
Yeah, so like Rey stays a Mary Sue through the entire fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. I know that is one thing that I do notice about Rey is her lack of like real adversity.
Yeah. Everything is handed to her.
Yeah. She never 100%. She never had her hand chopped off like Luke. she never was Anakin and all of his fuck ups.
Did you ever see that meme where it has Rey going, so how do you guys, it's like after the first Star Wars movie was made, it's like, how do you guys think it's going to think for breakfast for me? And it shows a picture of Luke saying, well, in the second movie, my hand got chopped off. And it shows Anakin, saying in the second movie, my hand was chopped off. It's just like, you guys don't think that's going to happen to me, do you?
I mean, other than Anakin getting his hand chopped off, he was Anakin. So let's be real about that.
I mean, but like, I agree. Like she was completely a Mary Sue, and everything was handed to her. The first movie, she grabs a lightsaber and is able to go toe to toe with Kylo Ren, who supposedly had, these super good training and was like, a Sith Lord, and she was just, waving the lightsaber around, able to, hurt him and do stuff. Like, really? Like, no.
Okay.
Everything was handed to her.
Yeah.
She went to go train with Luke Skywalker, and all of a sudden was just able to do things that were just super powerful and amazingly awesome and cool without any real.
Yeah, on the point of powers though, I think it's also a point that if we look at the Force as balance, then the lack of her being like the last Jedi left, then wouldn't that mean that the Force pretty much channeled all of the Jedi into her?
No. We need to know her midichlorian count.
Okay.
We need to know her midichlorian count. We need to know it now because, like, you know what? I don't believe any of this, so I know her midichlorian count. Somebody needs to get Qui-Gon Jinn, and we need to get a little thing and a finger stick, and I don't know the midichlorian count now because I don't think her midichlorian count is effectively appropriate.
I think the way that the movie tried to explain it, which I think was very lacking, was that, well, all this is because she's a Palpatine.
But she's not a Palpatine.
But she is a Palpatine.
You said you read the spoilers.
I did read the spoilers, but she was made by Palpatine. She wasn't really a Palpatine.
I thought she was like a granddaughter of Palpatine.
That's what the whole story was. That like his kids were her parents, or his
like he's her grandfather,
something like that. I don't know.
I didn't read that part. I just knew that she was made by Palpatine. That's what I understood the spoilers.
So okay, hold about that. Let's get into Rise of Skywalker proper because we haven't even touched that shit yet.
Okay, but so she's the literal granddaughter. So who the hell did Palp sleep with?
Yeah, and that was something I wondered too. Who in their right mind would want to sleep with him?
Like, yeah,
unless this was back during his Naboo senator days.
I mean, it could have been.
Imagine it? It's like, yes, do it, suck my dick, yes. Like, really? Like,
yeah, Palpatine pretty much.
That BDSM was definitely interesting. I'll say that
Palpatine pretty much made everybody. And like he does talk about that in the prequels, like being able to create life. Like, isn't it a theory that Palpatine created Anakin because he doesn't have a dad, right?
Yeah, he was created by the midichlorians.
Well, the whole thing was everybody likes to revolve around is when Palpatine talks about Lord whatever.
Yeah, in episode 2, I can't think of who you're talking about, but I know what you're talking about.
He talks about Lord what's his fucking, and I'm sure there's a Star Wars real guru who could tell me that I'm wrong in every aspect, but Lord's fucks his face who found out a way to cheat death.
Yeah.
And there was a Sith equivalent of basically the Force ghosts for Jedi. But there's really a lot of speculation associated with that.
Okay, so yeah, speculation aside, let's talk proper. I did say that I enjoyed the movies. Too much hate.
I will say this: I thought of the 3 episodes 7, 8, and 9. I thought episode 9 was the best.
It was not the best. It was not the best. Hold on. Hold on.
You see I'm pushing buttons over here, nerdy?
So, episode 9 was the hardest fucking turn attempt that I've ever seen from one movie to the next. They ended up, planting seeds for something that could have been interesting, and they went back into the safest route possible, the most Disney route possible.
Go ahead.
So, for all of the shit that is wrong with Last Jedi, there was some good shit that came out of it. Good, if only for the sake of being potentially good. So I did like the whole tired Luke thing, even if the reason he was tired was not good, which it wasn't, but the whole idea of a tired Luke and like, fuck, I'm done with the Jedi and shit, like that's interesting. Another thing is Leia did become Superman. Whatever.
That was so bad. That was
so going off of the tired Luke thing, another interesting idea that they planted in Last Jedi was the possibility of a gray Jedi path. And I know gray Jedi is a fan-made thing, but like the possibility of just saying fuck the Jedi, fuck the Sith,
the neutral path. Yeah.
I would have loved to seen the gray Jedi,
but I like, we all know it's Disney. You can't do. There has to be a good side, and that's why this last movie was so safe. Is that the Jedi win, the good guys win, because that's how it works. And
but here's my question. And this is something I've always wondered: are the Jedi actually good?
That's my whole point that I'm trying to make, is that I personally am also done with this Jedi shit, because they're basically just a religious cult, just like the Sith.
Well, let me just put it in this aspect for a second. So the Jedi, they formed the Jedi Council, and they control the Senate from the shadows. That's literally what they do. They send their little assassins in, their little negotiators, quote unquote negotiators, in to negotiate terms for things to happen within the Senate instead of letting the Senate govern itself. When they see that somebody who is voted into the Senate as the quote unquote, not emperor, I forget what they called it then, but the leader of the Senate at the time,
the chancellor.
Chancellor, thank you. When they voted into, they're like, "Oh, we don't like this guy. We think he's doing bad things, so we're just going to remove him." It's that the Jedi are like all about, manipulation and not letting people be who they are. They literally have rules where you can't be in love and stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole.
Whereas the Sith are like, passion and going forth and seeking out everything that you really truly want and finding your power. And
the Sith, if anything, let you be more of a human than the fucking Jedi. That you're a fucking robot with the Jedi. And that's I think that's like the thing about this new series is that it could have been something interesting for a generation that is kind of looking for something like that, because this story would have worked back in the era of the original trilogy, you know, good prevailing over evil, because that's just what that's how society was back then. But we're different now, you know. This is a new era. You got to do a new story, but they didn't. And it's like
I would have loved to have seen well, first of all, in my opinion, the last Skywalker, or whatever the last movie is called,
Rise of Skywalker.
They should have done Rise of the Skywalker a part 1 and part 2, like they did in the Twilight series, where the last movie is a part 1 and part 2.
Okay.
Because they could have done the part 1 movie where all they did is basically what they tried to do all in one movie, is fix all the stuff that happened in The Last Jedi that they wanted to fix, and then part 2 could have been the last bit of the actual progression of the storyline.
Yeah, so that's actually another point with this movie, is that it was super fast paced. Like planet to planet was so quick. Like you're basically doing all these long ass quests within, you know, a fucking 20-minute span or whatever. So yeah, it was really fast paced because it was such a hard attempt to say fuck everything that happened in the last movie. They had to like turn it all around, and they only had one movie to do it, which was the issue.
Well, Mr. Soltrick brings up some really good points about how the Jedi Order was different from the Old Republic versus the New Republic. And that's something I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see, and I hope they do it, I would love to see a movie where we see the Old Republic, where we see the actual wars between the Jedi and the Sith.
We need a fucking Revan story.
Yes,
that's what we need.
We need Kotar in there.
We need Revan.
Oh yeah, that would be just amazing. Because I mean, it would be amazing, because like you would get a whole bunch of backstory, not just coming out of it.
You're cutting out. Your audio's cutting out.
Sorry, is this better? It's better.
Yeah.
So, like, for a perfect example would be the Mandalorian. Everybody's loving the Mandalorian TV show. Well, the Mandalorian TV show takes place in the relatively recent timeline, correct?
Yeah, it happens just after Vader kills Palpatine, right after the fall of the Empire.
Okay, to really understand what the Mandalorians are, to really understand why everybody's so terrified of
you got to go back into history and know where they came from. You got to know about the wars on Mandalore and the actual people.
Yeah, the Mandalorians were fucking terrifying, and the Sith used them as a fucking massively powerful force to destroy things. Like they were, just massively powerful, and they weren't force users. They were just a race of, you know,
warriors. They were the Spartans of the Star Wars of the Star Wars universe.
They were the Klingons of Star Wars.
The Klingons.
Absolutely. But like, no, that's the thing. Like, I want to go back to those times, because I tell you what, the Old Republic stuff, that's where Star Wars lore really shines. Everybody loves Yoda and everything. I want to see Yoda in his prime. I want to see Yoda as these are the spinoffs Disney needs to do. They need to do something from the Old Republic. They need to do Yoda as a reckless young Jedi Knight. I want to see Yoda being that guy.
So the thing is, though, as much as I want a Revan story, I don't want it told by Disney, because Kotar was not a Disney type of story. Like the canon Kotar was not. So I don't know.
Mr. Soul Creek says Yoda is not part of the Old Republic. How old is Yoda?
900.
In the very first movie.
Yeah, he was 900 when he died.
He was over 900 years
when
old.
900 years old you look.
Yeah. Okay, so 900 years old. And how far before that was the Old Republic?
4,000?
Or like 50 million years.
I think
All
it's
right, so no, it's not 50 million years. It's not that long.
no, I think it was like 4,000 years.
All right, so Yoda's great grandfather as a young reckless Jedi. Fuck it. I don't even care if it's the Old Republic. I want to see who trained Yoda, and I want to see Yoda be a young reckless Jedi. I'm sorry.
You know what? Let's just do an origin story of Yoda.
I think that's what I think that's what Mandalorian is going to turn out to. Is he's going to go back to Yodidia or wherever the Yodans are from, and we're going to kind of have a backstory as to what this race of creatures is.
Yeah, I would love to see. Yeah, I would love to see a backstory for Yoda himself, like how he came to be. Because, like, you remember, like, in the first movie when they did the midichlorians, and I know they tried to write that out, but they did the midichlorians thing, and Yoda's midichlorian count was like the benchmark of like the highest, because Obi-Wan was like, even Master Yoda doesn't have a midichlorian count that high.
Right. It was like over 9,000 or some shit.
Yeah, no, it wasn't over 9,000. That'd be awesome boys. Yoda got trained by a snail-looking bloke. Really? Like, is this already like in comics? Because I need to read these comics then. Like, I want to see.
Well, if it's in comics, then it was in the old canon, so it doesn't matter now.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Sadly, thanks Disney.
Yeah, I don't follow enough of the alternative media of Star Wars.
You mean the original canon?
Yeah, well, the original canon is no longer canon. Well, they're starting to bring some things back. Like, did you hear the news that they have officially said that Knights of the Old Republic is now canon?
I have not.
That is what I heard, and that's why I said I wanted a Revan story now. Now that Revan is canon.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Like, I want to see them go back to the Old Republic. I think that's the only way they're going to restore people's faith in Star Wars is to just say, okay, Skywalker's done. That all stuff's done. We're good. It's done.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the glory days of the Jedi.
Which I think is what they're planning on doing. I think that's why Episode 9, they brought it to an end. Good guys win. Okay, Skywalker Saga's done. Now let's start over with clean slate. Where are we going to go from here? And now they're going to do it however Disney wants to do it, or however J.J. Abrams wants to do it, or how John Favreau wants to do it. Like that, like they're now able to start with a clean slate.
Yeah, and that's what I think they need. But they need to go back to a time period that really gets people excited. And I think if you look at like the Old Republic video game, Knights of the Old Republic video games, if you look at all of those video games just from the video gaming community, those are the ones that everybody harkens to, saying those are the best video games. Those are the best and interesting times to go, look into. And I really think Disney would make the right decision, or whatever, Lucas Arts or whoever's doing it. They would be the right decision to go back to that time period, because they could do whatever the hell they wanted. It's been untouched. They can have massive armies of Siths. Like some of the best parts of the prequels in Star Wars is when you had a whole shit ton of Jedi fighting a whole shit ton of fucking droids and shit in that big Coliseum scene.
Yep.
That was fucking cool as hell. Now imagine if it was a whole shit ton of Jedi in Jedi armor, which was a thing, fighting a whole shit ton of Sith in Sith armor, and they were just going at it in a big old battle.
And maybe not even all lightsabers. Maybe some of those blades with the coating and all that stuff, right? Like make it like that ancient, where the lightsaber is like a new thing. That should be what they go back to. The birth of the lightsaber. Star Wars, the birth of the lightsaber.
Yeah, imagine going back and doing that and seeing a big old like fucking Helm's Deep fucking level of fight, but with fucking Jedi and Sith.
And mythosaurs and all this other like Mandalorians added into it, as kind of like the galaxy bad guys or whatnot, right?
Yeah, I can see that being something really neat. That I think that's what they need to go back to. But we'll see what they do.
We still haven't. We gotta go back to Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker proper, because I'm not done. I still have points on that movie itself.
You're trying to convince us it's a good movie.
No. I'm trying to say how disappointed I am with it. Like I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie, but it ruined a lot of shit for me, and it kind of turned me around on seeing why people hate the new series when it comes to like Star Wars canon and shit. Because now Palpatine is everything. Everything was because of Palpatine. Mm-hmm. From episode 1 to 9, everything was Palpatine, and that to me is lame as shit. Yeah. And like now the whole story. So another thing that was interesting in The Last Jedi was the idea that Rey was no one and came from nothing. But now she's a Palpatine. So now this whole saga of 9 movies was Skywalker versus Palpatine. Mm-hmm. And that's just boring to me. It's like this one or these 2 royal families with all this fucking power. Like it's just them 2, and no one else can have this power, and like it's lame for me. So that's one thing I hated about the whole bringing Palpatine back shit. And
well, I think the idea of bringing Palpatine back was interesting.
It's an interesting idea, but I just don't like the fact that Rey was connected to him.
Yeah, I think they should have just stuck with like. As much as I didn't like it because it didn't flow into like the story proper, I still liked the idea to some extent that the idea that everyone could be a Jedi. It's kind of like, you roll the dice. Some people have more midichlorians than other, type of thing. That was always an interesting aspect. And yeah, I keep referring back to the midichlorians because, I mean, that's the only way that they had in all of Star Wars franchise. I mean, everybody wants to give it shit about the midichlorians and stuff, but it's the only way that they ever had to really gauge how powerful a Jedi was. That.
Yeah.
So
speaking of powers, actually I'll get to that after I say this quickly. When Rey used Force Lightning, that was awesome as shit. Okay, that was awesome as fuck. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Too bad it's a Sith power, but
yeah.
Hey.
No, I'm just saying like
that was our one clue that she's a Palpatine before we learned that.
No, it wasn't a clue that it was a Palpatine for me. It was just the fact that it could have been something cool. Like it could have led towards the Grey Jedi path, but it didn't. Yeah. So that was just an awesome moment for me. But speaking of midichlorians and powers and being overpowered and shit, let's talk about fucking Palpatine's use of Force Lightning in that movie and how fucking ridiculously overpowered that was. Let's talk about his fucking fleet of Star Killers. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
Star Killer ships. Like thousands of fucking Star Killer ships. It was fucking ridiculously. It gets to a point when the threat becomes so big that it's not a legitimate threat anymore, because thousands and thousands of Star Killer ships is too much. Like maybe a fleet, if maybe like 10 or 20, like that's more threatening, because when you have thousands and thousands, obviously they all have one central weak point, which they did.
And it's always the same central weak point.
Yeah. So that was over the top for me.
I think that was an attempt. Like if you ever did Trotar and you went to the dark side, and I can't think of what it's called now, the Death Spire, whatever it is, that created the whole Sith fleet, and you go and invade the galaxy with the ending credits, and you have all these Sith destroyers, leaving the planet and all that stuff. I think they were trying to mimic that, and they just went way over the top with it.
It was way over the top. Plus,
everything in that movie was way over the top.
Plus, those thousands.
They were riding horses.
I was about to say, they were riding horses on a Star Killer.
Plus,
so, yeah, over the top.
Plus, those thousands and thousands of Star Killer ships came out of the fucking water.
and they all had just one.
How big was that fucking ocean?
And they all just had one control tower that was controlling all of them. Like, how is one control tower to control all of them?
I can see that more than anything. I mean, the whole thing was just so over the top.
Yeah,
it was so Disney over the top ending of a franchise saga that it was sickening. Like, there was, and then their ending scene, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't like Rey go back to Tatooine?
Yeah, and she's there
and buries the Skywalker lightsaber.
And then she
looks off into the two suns like Luke did in the first movie.
And then this old lady's like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I'm a Skywalker."
Yeah, it doesn't really work for me. Like, just taking the Skywalker name, like, it's weird.
She's not a Skywalker.
She's not.
No, the Skywalkers are dead now.
So you know what?
Yeah, you killed Kylo. He was the last of them.
So yeah, you know what?
Herself.
Like I thought that like Kylo was going to become the hero based on the title of the movie.
That was a cool idea that I had in my head, but I knew they weren't going to do it. But like, Rise of Skywalker, like, Ben is the actual last Skywalker. So what if the movie means Rey dies in the last fight and Ben is the Skywalker that rises,
or doesn't redeem himself. He conquers the galaxy, or not.
But no, it's Disney. We gotta have a happy ending. We gotta have the fucking kiss at the end, which is another fucking problem I had. Is that the kiss was so unnecessary and out of place because
wait, who kissed?
Rey and Ben.
Oh yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah.
So that throughout the rest of the series, the first two movies, like, that was kind of left ambiguous, and I think it should have been left ambiguous, and we didn't need the kiss. On top of that, it would have worked if better with a gray Jedi path, but the fact that Jedi are not supposed to fall in love is another problem with it. Not only are Jedi not supposed to fall in love, but they shouldn't fall in love with somebody who kills millions of people. And
or is their cousin.
Yeah.
As a guideline, don't fall in love with people who kill people.
I mean,
that's a guideline.
Which is why the gray Jedi path would have worked better if they wanted to end on the freaking love story path.
But if you go into canon, there are so many paths of Jedi that they could have explored, because everybody knows about the Guardian path and the Counselor path of Jedi. But there was actually a path of Jedi that were their hunter Jedis that hunted down the dark powers and stuff like that. And then there was the gray Jedi who used both light and dark. There were so many different Jedi paths that the fact that they didn't explore all of that in the finale of the biggest movie or the biggest franchise in known history, that, like, come on, there's so much they can explore.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the whole point of why I'm so disappointed with this movie, is because they hinted towards exploring it, like Rian Johnson did, which the director of Episode 8. He explored it, but then fucking JJ comes back with Episode 9 and it's like, no, fuck that. People hated it. I'm gonna turn it back into the safe Disney zone and just go the safe way. But I do think that's what Rian Johnson was trying to do with Episode 8.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Either way, it was. I think the last two movies were just a complete disaster, and they just tried to salvage as much as they could in the story to finish it.
I will say with both of those, with Episode 8 and 9, seeing them for how they played out, I am turned around on defending them. I never really defended them. Like, I understood people's hate, and I just kind of left it at that, and, like, I enjoy it. But now I've turned around personally on just seeing them for the shit they are. But I still liked Force Awakens. That's just how it is. Whatever.
Rian Johnson proclaimed years back that if he ever gets directing a franchise movie, his goal will be to create the biggest car crash in movie history. Maybe, but sometimes franchises need car crashes. I to some degree, as much as The Last Jedi was just a complete dumpster fire in many ways. I think that if they would have followed that path, kind of like Player 22 is saying, if they would have followed that path and explored the other Jedi Pass and the Gray Jedi and stuff like that, it would have came to a much more satisfying ending in the Rise of the Skywalker, or whatever the name of the movie was. I think it would have been a much, because it would have been very interesting to see Kylo, like if they wanted to explore that love scene and everything, they could have had it so Kylo and Rey came together as representatives of both dark and light side at the end of the movie, destroying Palpatine, and realizing that in order to have true balance of the Force, you have to have representatives of both. And they created the first Grey Jedi school.
Yeah. And that's what they
would have been awesome.
Yeah, and that's another point that was hinted at in episode 8, when Kylo held his hand out and was like, let's just forget all this Sith and Jedi shit. Let's just rule the world together, which, obviously ruling the world is an evil thing, but still, the idea of fuck the Sith and Jedi, like that was interesting.
Create your own order of Grey Jedi where there is actual because that was always the undertone of all the movies. Bring balance to the Force, bring balance to the Force, bring balance to the Force. Having a representative of light and dark to lead a school of new Jedi being trained or new Grey Jedi being trained would have been literal balance in the Force.
Yeah.
But no.
It's Disney. Good has to win. Good has to prevail. And you have to have a kiss at the end because, fucking David Cage levels of romance is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So I guess the great thing about The Mandalorian is that there is no kiss. So that's my segue into let's talk about Mandalorian because that is badass.
Was that something we were going to talk about?
We might have to save Mandalorian until the next episode.
Yeah.
It's been 2 hours.
I'm like 2 episodes behind. I'm like 2 episodes behind.
I'll tell you what. I'll watch The Mandalorian this week because I just got Disney Plus this week. I'll watch it this week and we can talk about it next week for next week's show.
All right.
That means you guys have to go watch the Witcher series though. So we can actually have a real
I'm not going to be on that sweet show. I'm going to be out of town.
Chris isn't here next week.
I'm going to be out of town on a business trip.
Well, we could do it. Like I said, we haven't decided if we're doing a weekly show or bi-weekly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like, can we cover enough content weekly or should we wait bi-weekly?
Let's do bi-weekly then. Let's do bi-weekly then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I'm since you haven't watched Mandalorian or anything like that, all I'm going to say is as a single father, Mandalorian speaks to me.
Nice. Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I will tell you what, as a single father then, you will absolutely love the Witcher series.
I'll definitely look into it then.
I'm telling you, you will. But all right, so how are we ending this? Are we all going to do an outro?
Fuck, I don't know.
The end. Thanks for playing.
Like when I start talking about shit,
this is the way.
When I start talking about shit, I get on. Oh my god. Hold on, okay? Because the one thing that really
Wait, is he still on Star Wars?
It's kind of about Star Wars. The one thing that I was what up, Monk? Thanks for lurking. One thing I was really dreading when I started watching Mandalorian, as soon as I heard this is the way, I'm like, holy fuck, this is a meme. Holy fuck, I'm gonna have to see this, hear it every fucking day. Okay?
Well, you know what? This is the way.
Fuck.
We shall show him the way.
So did you die from the meme?
Okay, so this is gonna be our sign off for every show. Then we're just gonna say this is the way.
Yes.
but not really, because no, we're not
Untitled Nerd Show. This is the way.
Oh my god.
That's the new name for the show. This is the way show.
All right, Soul Creek. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you later.
All right, see you, Soul.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us for the show.
All right, so sign off. We make sure Nerdy, plug your channel, plug your Discord if you want.
Okay. Well, hey guys, I'm the Nerdy Farmer. I run a channel called The Nerdy Farmer. I also have a Discord called the Nerd Farm. Feel free to drop by. I stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's Central Standard Time here in the U.S. And feel free to stop by, watch me play some games. We're a variety stream, so we could be playing shooters, RPGs, whatever. We usually try to stick to things that have pretty deep stories, but occasionally I get sidetracked.
So we don't do battle royales.
Not well. I play Tarkov every so often because I'm stuck on it. But feel free to stop by. I'd love to see you there.
Yeah. So for me, my stream schedule is still being built for 2020. But you can follow my Discord for all the news on that. I am also a variety streamer, and I do not touch battle royales.
Until I get him into Tarkov.
Yeah. You can.
He's using me to do that, by the way.
You can follow me on Player22 because this is the channel you are watching this on. So if you don't know that already, then I'm sorry.
So I will be participating on some of the streams with Player22. If I'm not and you see me on Twitch, I'll be using my Shaman Twitch handle.
Are you actually going to stream on that?
No, like when I'm lurking on any of your streams.
Yeah. So you can also find Chris on Player22. That's twitch.tv/Player22, which is the same channel as this channel that I'm on, because it is the same channel.
Because this is the way.
God damn it.
I was waiting for it.
God damn it.
We need to work on these outros. Keep in mind, everybody, this is our first ever show podcast.
We'll come up with better. We'll come up with better shit. I actually want to do like an outro. Like, I want to get some graphics done. I just need to find someone to do it, but I want to do an outro with like a short little video clip or something like that, and maybe some music or something.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
We do. But let's finish this one, and we can talk about that offline.
All right. So to end, we're just gonna smile and wave, everyone.
Smile and wave, boys.
Bye, guys.
Smile and wave.